You seem to have a level of commitment to resolving some of the long-standing problems of your agency that, from my contact with other committee members, was sorely missing in your predecessor. But when you tell this committee that you share our frustration with the lack of progress on the women's procurement program, I don't believe you. When we had the Women's Chamber of Commerce here for the first subcommittee hearing of contracting and technology, this entire room was packed with frustrated women who own their own businesses who have been waiting far too long for progress on this program. And when you told us that the regulatory process for the women's procurement program would be completed by the end of the summer, I think most of us assumed that the traditional end of summer is the autumnal equinox, which occurred on September 23rd at 5:51 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So the fact that you're here today telling us that the Administrative Procedure Act is going to cause further delays, which is part of the regulatory process you knew about when you made that representation to us, I just don't find your explanation plausible. And I would like you to explain to us what you as the administrator of the Small Business Administration are going to do between now and the next 90-day period to ensure that this program receives the resources, the attention from the top down to make it happen. Because quite frankly, the fact that this rule was released one day before your testimony here, I find remarkable.
Well, I would be remiss to imply that my 1 year of work on this rule would be similar to 7 years of frustration among the affected parties. So I share your frustration. I wouldn't imply that it is to the same extent, because obviously many of these years preceded my participation in it. I think if you spoke with my policy staff, they would tell you that there is nothing higher on their agenda that they have pushed harder on or been more engaged with or been pushed on harder by me than this rule. I have spent a tremendous amount of time with my counterparts around the federal government on this issue personally, and I will continue to do that. And I will continue to do that over the next 3 months. It is a complicated set of issues, and
it's been a complicated set of issues for 7 long years.
It has been, and we've had a number of missteps. And we've had the RAND study since April, and that now has put in motion a whole other set of activities. The other thing I do have to remind you of is I never said it would be done by the end of summer. I said I hoped it would be, and I specifically said in my testimony I can't give you a hard timeline on that. So I just want to make sure to state before this body that that was never a hard commitment on my part. I committed to do everything I could to move the process forward. I have done that, and will continue to do that.
One of the other things we talked about at your first appearance here this year was the PCR increases that were being contemplated by the agency. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And when Deputy Administrator Carranza appeared before us last week, she brought some very nice, fancy charts showing where those PCRs were going to be placed. Did you ever see those charts?
I haven't seen the charts, but I have seen the list of where those are located.
Okay. And when I talked to you during that hearing in February, I specifically asked you, based upon the fact that I come from a state that ranks 48th in terms of federal contracting dollars, whether you were going to commit to devoting a PCR to my state and other states that don't have access to the benefit of that type of program. Are you aware of whether one of those PCRs is being placed in Iowa?
Sir, Iowa has no major federal contracting activities, and the way it works is the PCRs are physically located where the agencies are. Iowa does have 4 procurement technical assistants, which specifically are experts that work with small businesses to get those contracts. Iowa also has dedicated personnel in our Iowa district office, which are business development specialists that work specifically with small businesses to help them in the contracting picture. But the PCRs don't work with small businesses. They're housed at the federal agencies with major buying activities. And my understanding is there are no major buying activities located in Iowa, so our focus has been reaching out to the small businesses there because that's what's going to provide the most support to them.
Well, my time has expired, but we will continue to revisit that topic.